Up is Penny Howard, who's involved in the Unions for Refugees group, which has just been set up late last year. As we know, there's been a long history of union support for the refugee campaign, and I think, particularly in terms of deportations, it's something we'd like to see more of in terms of encouraging unions to actually take direct action against some of the deportations, and actually stop people physically being deported at the airport. So I think that our links with the unions are very important. So I might just hand over to Penny.
Thanks very much. It's fantastic that so many people have made it here on short notice, although obviously we wouldn't have wanted to be here for this reason. I was in Washington, D.C. with a group of school children on September 11th of 2001, and that was an awful day. And in a way, that day marks this beginning of this rhetoric from George Bush of the war on terror. But of course, we know what that's actually meant. It's meant a war of terror, and terror that's rained down on Afghanistan and other parts of the Middle East and made them the really dangerous places that they are to be in today. And the terror that George Bush wanted to provoke there wasn't just of people in the Middle East. It was of people who are our neighbors, who are living next to us, and make people think that it's people in the Middle East or people who might live down the road from you who look a bit different are the real enemy and not George Bush and his mates. And I think in Australia we've got Tony Abbott playing that same game right now. And if you look at the generals he's got in charge of running this ridiculous Operation Sovereign Borders thing, they're all actually pulled from the people who organized the invasion of Fallujah, from the people who were involved in the invasion of Afghanistan. And they're now the people who are coordinating what's happening to refugees in Indonesia and forcing people back onto lifeboats where they end up back washed up on shore and potentially dying in the Indonesian jungle. And that's because Abbott wants us to fear people like this man they want to deport this evening. Abbott wants us to think that he and people like him are the people who are the reason why New Start isn't enough, the reason that our hospitals might be too crowded, the reason that our public transport is old and shitty. And we know that it's Abbott, that it's his government, and unfortunately the government before him who is responsible for the situation that we're in right now. And that's why we started this group, Unions for Refugees. And we've received some really excellent support from lots of different unions, from the Australian Services Union, the NGU, the Maritime Union, the Rail Tram Bus Union, teachers, and lots of other activists as well. And we've been endorsed now by New South Wales. And now we need to really start a campaign of destroying these myths that do exist, that are pumped out by the Daily Telegraph, and make sure people know that this process of criminalizing people like this man and making people think he's done something wrong or that he's some kind of criminal that we need to expel him from this country is wrong. And that's really important, I think, in building the fight back that we need to build against Tony Abbott. We need to stop Tony Abbott both because of what he's doing to refugees and because of what he's doing to ordinary working people in this country. And we need to make sure that people recognize that Abbott is the real enemy. And after the history of our invasion of Afghanistan, of all the imperialist adventures and people swapping back and forth with no regard to the ordinary people of that country, we owe it to this man, we owe it to every person in Afghanistan and Pakistan and that whole region, that if they want to come to Australia, they should be able to come to Australia, they should be able to stay permanently in Australia, and when it comes to Abbott, we need a united fight against him. We can't allow him to be held back by racism and by scapegoating refugees so that people think that somehow they are responsible for the problems this government is creating. So I'd ask if any of you here are members of a union or want to get involved, please speak to me afterwards and hopefully we can build this campaign and broaden it. And I really hope tonight we get the news that this man gets to stay here and that we don't send other people to the horrific situation that they may be facing now in Afghanistan. Thanks.